What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's Friday. It's the Nerd Den. I need like an audience thing. So, took us a minute. Andrew was demoing his own personal ASMR, his own ASMR thing. Yes, there you go. You can do it. You can. No, you're muted, Andrew.
I forgot I was muted.
Yeah.
Broccoli.
Wait. No.
I'm not going to do that on screen, guys.
Hey, MK. It says 7 minutes. Color me impressed.
I tried, MK. I tried.
You know how hard it is to actually be on time?
Andrew got kicked twice in the green room. Dusty kicked him twice.
You guys would have been so proud of me.
Yeah, yes, it's true. I know it's a goal. How you guys doing, man? Happy Friday. How's the week been? We got Dusty, we got Avery, we got Zach, we got Andrew. What's up?
What's up?
We're here. We're never mind.
So
we're coming for your children.
No. Kicked and not even on stream. Respect.
Yep, twice.
So, we got a couple things tonight. The first is I'm gonna call on Andrew, not the second, but we're gonna go through Andrew's because he's got a bunch of slab books and I'm dying. He forgot to show me one last night. He and I were talking, or yesterday, day before, and you sent me a picture of it, but I want to see it on screen because it was gorgeous. Also, I have actually something for everybody, but I have something for Avery to gush over because I've been looking at AI and some of the new stuff that's going on with AI.
Oh gosh,
I'm an AI noob, but soon I won't be, because it's getting to a place where, man, like everything we ever dreamed of as far as artists and for speed and helping process and all kinds of stuff is pretty much all coming true in weird ways that you never would have thought of. So it's pretty amazing. I'm sure we got some more twists and turns, and I would definitely want to hear from Zach. Zach's book has been coming out. Zach, thank you. I got the latest chapter today. I think it was yesterday. Today. Yeah, pretty awesome. I'm going to read it. This weekend. So thank you for sending that. You're getting that on your email list, which is awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, guys. So what else we got? Where should we start, Dusty? Is there anything else that we need to cover before we jump into other things?
I think it's Friday. Let's just jump into other things.
Dusty's like, why am I here? Why am I here, guys? I just don't want to be associated with you.
Dusty just realized he has nothing to bring to the stream tonight.
He got kicked again. Oh, MK, this is for Zach. What is the latest with the Substack newsletter idea? Are you doing it?
I've been doing it for about close to 3 months at this point. It's gone through some permutations and changes. For now, for the last couple of weeks, it's been free, basically. It's a free newsletter. Well, it's a free novel that's being released chapter by chapter online, and so basically anybody can read it, although you won't get the emails, you won't get the actual emails unless you subscribe. New chapters.
Can you, Zach, really quick to cut you off, send me the link in private chat and I'll put it on screen.
Okie doke, give me a second.
I'll put it in chat as well.
Yeah, so the short version is it's been out for a while. Now that I'm starting to get a little bit back on my feet financially, I'm probably going to start running ads to try and grow the mailing list. Tadas gave me the idea. What I'm planning on doing is that I thought about trying to make money off this, but I realized you gotta grow an audience first to make money. So so basically I'm running it for free. I'm going to try and get more subs. Then when the final chapter publishes, I'm going to actually release it as a book, kind of follow the free online comic model. Release everything free, but then then release the book and hopefully by that point that the audience is invested enough that they'll actually pony up the money to buy it. It's
Awesome.
I'm working on a bunch of other projects as well, some of which I'm not prepared to talk about at the moment. But some of them do involve AI. So if you want to pick my brain about
MK
that,
says, is that it on your name, like the spearofheaven.com?
that's the yeah. Why do you think I put it there?
Here,
All right.
I'll pop it in chat too, just for
Thanks.
anyone else that pops in.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Pop it in the chat.
There we go. Awesome, man. So, Andrew, do you wanna jump in and show some of these amazing slabs?
Sure,
First off,
I can do
I
that.
gotta say, like, last time we talked, you spent a little over $5,000 on this so far.
Mm-hmm.
Has your spending curve stopped?
It is definitely slowed down.
Uh-huh.
There was a time when I had a new order every day. I recently took like 2 days off and didn't have any orders for 2 days, and that's whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I've got 4 more coming that should be here tomorrow, and then I have 6 more coming that should be here by Tuesday, and I've got 2 rounds of auctions that end tonight. But I put like bare minimum, so if I lose them, I lose them. It's not.
Okay.
I kind of just wanted to be involved, so I put
No
little bits,
gems.
so.
No gems.
No, that's not for another 4 or 5 days. Somebody's got a copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula #1 slab that's like a 9.4. Oh my gosh.
Mike Mignola. The Mike
Mignola gorgeous cover. Oh, I want that one. But yeah.
You sold it to me. I have it.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I have the trade. I believe my first issue is signed by Mike Mignola.
Oh, even nice. Very nice. Very nice.
It might be. I'm not sure.
Well, I have a slight bit of announcement to make before we start, if that's all right, Todd.
You're opening the door to so many jokes, but I'm just gonna be good.
Okay, good. Be good, because this is serious stuff here.
You're pregnant.
Yes, I am pregnant with Dusty's baby. Somehow we make
I got to get back to this tab. Oh, good Lord.
You got to be quicker.
That wasn't another tab. I didn't think to be taken here. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, MK is pulling up a question. He says, "You quit going full-time shop?"
You know, people say long distance relationships don't work.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those nights. Andrew's in a good mood.
Dusty and I prove it every day. It can work. It can work. Hold it. Just one more thing. I just want to say one more thing. Love you, man. Love you.
It just...
That's all we have to say about that.
Oh,
Can't find my scissors. What happened to my scissors?
I don't know.
You and Dusty have the wrong equipment for scissoring.
Oh no!
Wait! And Avery gets to stay after that?
You're influencing him.
Plus 10 points. Plus 10 points to Dusty. Very good, Dusty.
Mm-hmm. Plus 10 points.
Can we just behave?
25
Let's
for
just
Andrew.
all behave.
The news is yes. It is not official because I put nothing in writing, but I did let my boss know that I am retiring from my day job, effective 7.5 months from now. I'm giving him a lot of leeway, but
But you did tell him that next summer you're out.
the end of April, I'm
End
done.
of April.
I literally before the show brought up a calendar and did a countdown. 32 more Fridays. 32 more
Awesome.
Fridays, and I'm done.
Congratulations, brother.
So yeah.
MK says, "Congrats, sir. That's awesome."
Yep. I'm already sitting down talking about all the different things that I can do in order to improve my channel, to improve my store, to get back to work on my art and my books. And I have this really big desk over here. This is my work desk. That is going to become my art studio desk. So while I'm here in the office, I'm going to work on that. I'm going to rig up some cameras in order to record drawings, and I'm getting back into all that stuff, and I am so excited. I am so looking forward to doing it. There's a huge amount of relief. Not that I finally made the decision, because I have literally been living with this since February, planning it, talking to my family about it, and getting things rolling. But the relief is I've told the person who it affects the most, my boss.
Yeah.
So he is aware of my intention, and he did try to ask me if there was anything they could do in order to keep me on. And I'll tell you something, Todd, I don't know if I told you this or not. I told him one of the things I really wanted to do was get back to my art, because as an artist, that's a vital part of my being. And I'm not able to do it as much or at all in my current state. And he said, well, I mean, when it comes to building SQL queries and Tableau dashboards, you're kind of an artist in that. And I'm like, that's not going to work. It's not going to work.
A sequel artist.
You're not going to convince me to stay over that. So,
well, I think it's amazing. And one of the things that I mentioned, especially given the response, the feedback that your boss gave you, is that you kind of have a perfect time. It's a perfect time, because when you get that kind of response, like where they're like, would you like to stay part-time? You know, like when they're like, don't go, you pretty much, God forbid something happens and you try it on your own for a minute and something happens, you just have to go back, or you want to go back, or whatever. Like, it sounds like they would even be willing to take you back, which is great.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure they would, but I never wanted to burn a bridge. I'm giving him, well, what's so funny is my previous boss is the VP here in Jacksonville. And I saw him on Tuesday. I went into the office and spoke with him, and we just caught up on his life, my life, and all the things that are going on. And I told him of my intentions. And he said to me, he said, I support you. Whatever you need, you let me know, but give them at least a month's notice. That way you stay within the good graces. Well, I gave him 7.5 months notice. So
yeah, you gave them so much notice that they're going to forget by Monday.
Well, we'll see.
Well, congratulations, man. That means you're going to be opening next summer. The shop will be open on Fridays as well, right? At
least, yes. That's definitely something we're doing.
Now that the place you're in, it's primarily a weekend spot, right? Friday, Saturday.
No. Well, the flea market itself is open 7 days a week.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But the interior stores tend to not be open during the week. The exterior stores, like there's like a tire place on one side. There's a barber shop and a mattress store. They're open throughout the week because people can park and go right on in. Well, I'm on the interior, so you literally have to park and go down. And a lot of people don't realize that if there's nobody walking down the aisles, the lights are out.
Yeah, it's dark.
Originally they wanted to put me in row B. I'm in row C, right next to the food court, which is an open area. Half of it is open, so there's natural light that comes in. But they originally wanted to put me on row B, and I looked down there and I'm like, no freaking way. It's dark as hell down there. It's like, no, I don't want to be in an area where, somebody could be afraid for their life. They look down there and go, I'm not going down there.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a big place. I could totally see how you would feel a little.
But the store across from me, the clothing store, they're open on Fridays.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how much business they do, but they're usually open. When I come in on a Friday just to drop stuff off, they're open, and it may be limited hours, but I won't be alone. Plus the places that do the vegetables and the fruits, they usually set up on Thursday and they're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if I'm there on Friday, I will not be alone. But we'll see. It'll get some used to it. But I think I think I'll have a few customers that'll be excited about it. But if it's slow, it gives me an opportunity to draw. So.
Well, congratulations, man. That's a huge step, and it's been a long time coming, man.
Next year's my year. Next year's my year.
I also got to say, just and Avery can back me up on this. Like knowing you for as long as I have, the two things that we've talked about forever was of course comics and production and making comics, and you running a comic shop.
Always wanted to do it. Absolutely.
And you've knocked out both, and now you're just going full tilt on the whole thing. And that's freaking awesome, brother.
Well, the funny thing is when I was working at my old job, I was working on book 1 of Hero in the evening on weekends, and it took me 2 years to finish that first book. And then my job went away. And the job gave me a nice big fat severance, and I cashed in some other stuff, and I was able to live for a year without working. And it only took me a year to finish book 2. And then I went back to work, and then the stroke happened, and then all life happened and slowed everything down to a crawl. But I can do, in my mind, I can do a book in a year. And I have 10 books slated, and I want it.
And they're big books. I mean, they're thick.
Yeah, and I don't want to leave this earth without at least trying to finish those 10 books. Plus, there's other things I got ideas of working on. There's the scam bait graphic novel. There's the potential card game. There's Crom. There's a Crom book that
you produced a lot of shit. Like, I mean, I have a shelf. It's covered up on my portfolio right now. But I mean, you had the sketchbook series. You were doing short. There was like a couple of years where you're doing short stories for other publishers.
Yep.
There was Cornerstone, which I of course still love and would love to see more of.
Oh, one of these days.
I know, but now you've got Hero as well. So you've been very productive and very prolific, and it's going to be good to kind of see you kind of get back to that.
Well, I've been working at this company for 5 years. The last 3, there's been nothing done, nothing worked on, and it was all after the stroke.
Yeah. And
I'm looking forward to getting back to doing everything. And but I also want to, you know, what's so funny is Avery. My last live stream Saturday night, I meant to make a point of something and I completely forgot about it. Had you been there and I told you about it, you would have reminded me. But I passed 5,000 subscribers on my channel that day. I was at 5,002. And then Tuesday, I told my boss I was quitting. So it's all because of the YouTube channel. 5,000, that's enough for me. That's enough for me. I'm done.
No, all I'm saying is if you just get your thumbnails better, I know like we haven't tried. We're going to be doing a legit YouTube channel here soon. But like if you just like made your thumbnails a little brighter and a little more poppy and actually had a little better titles, your audience size would probably double.
My titles have been the same since day one almost. So
I know.
It's time to I've recently started experimenting with the videos themselves. Previously, there was like a 45 to a minute long intro where I introduced myself, told people about the channel, told them about the call, and then started the call. And what I've done is instead of doing that, just went right into the calls.
Yep.
And I added music at a very low rate behind the whole video, which is something new. So there's not the dead air in certain spots. And then I also put, instead of like and subscribe every minute and a half or so, it actually says at the beginning, check out our daily videos and our daily shorts. And then there's another one that says, check out our live stream Saturday at 8 p.m. And then like and subscribe. So I'm just playing around with that. See if directly into the calls is more popular.
I've actually, because I've been doing so much, like Dusty and I've been doing so much research on YouTube as an actual platform, like to actually get serious about it for the last couple of weeks. And I've seen it multiple times where they're like, do not do introductions, everyone, they said multiple pro YouTubers are like, yeah, everyone, they put like titles, your the title of your show in there, or they do an announcement like, hey, everybody, like and subscribe if you like, cut it. Don't do it. Like, everyone knows how to like and subscribe. They know the deal. They know how to leave comments. Like, you can put it on the screen because that doesn't affect that's animation, right? There's something on the screen, but just like launch into the content and get them going, you know?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I have my live stream tomorrow night. And I'm going to bring it up with the audience and see what they think. Cause a lot of the people that join my live stream, they watch all my videos. They're there for every one of them. They'll notice a change, and I look forward to seeing what their feedback is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
I'm excited.
Wicked, so many good things, Andrew. I'm so proud of you, man. Good stuff.
All right. You want to see some comics now?
Yeah, let's go. Let's
get back to the good stuff.
Yeah, let's go.
Unless who has something to say?
Unless Avery, you know, that other guy that's on the stream.
Yeah. Well, I like him, so.
What?
I like Avery, but I love Dusty.
Oh, God. It's okay. Everything's fine. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. It's not what you
it's exactly what you think. He's having my back.
This is
Why can't we just have a peaceful Friday? Just a nice,
a normal
Friday.
This is when he's in a good mood. This is what we've had to deal with when he's in a good mood.
I did that on purpose to take the screen time away so I could look for my scissors because I can't find my damn scissors.
Why do you need scissors?
Because I have things I have to do. And
we're live streaming. You don't need scissors.
I had them near me. I don't know where they're at. It's going to drive me crazy. I got a steak knife. I'll use that.
Why do you have a steak knife in your office?
To protect myself.
Oh, my God. Oh, God, Lord. Help me.
All right, you guys want to see some comics?
Yes, let's see something, please.
Now, some of these are, a lot of what I buy, I'll find one or two that I'm like, oh, I got to have that. I really, really want to have that one. And then I have others that I'm like, oh, that's a really good price. Let me just grab it. And if I get it, great. I literally, the 4 that I'm getting tomorrow, I saw them and said the price was right. So I put the bare minimum on all 4 of them. And I said, if I win them, I win them. If I don't, I don't. Actually, there were 5 of them. I lost one of them, but I won all the other 4 at the minimum price.
Nice.
I was like, well, hell yeah. So I look forward to getting those. So you want to focus on me so that people can see better? Or I mean, you don't have to.
MK says slap on the Marvin Gaye in the background.
Boom shakalaka laka. No, that's not it. But what's the common porn? Not prawn. What's the common prawn music?
Oh, God.
Avery, I know you know this. I know you know what I'm talking about. I forget it. Okay.
What? I'm not listening.
He's not listening. All right, cool. That's fine. All right. First one we got here this is a second print. This is Incredible Hulk. This is the second print of Incredible Hulk number 393, which is an anniversary issue. All right, back to what we're really supposed to be doing here.
It's not what you think, everyone.
I'm so clipping that and putting it in the Discord channel later.
You guys remember this issue when it came out?
Wait. MK says, I've got this pizza. Who's going to pay for it?
Wait. I'm all out of money.
No!
Sorry. Do you guys remember when this issue came out?
Yes.
This Dale Keown, fantastic, beautiful issue. This is.
Oh, hey, Karis, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Nothing to see here, guys.
This is a 9.2 slabbed edition. It's the silver. I think the regular edition was a green cover.
Yeah, it was an emerald.
This is the second print, so it's a silver cover, but still Frickin' A. And
Yeah.
back in this day, even though it wasn't that long ago, it was 92. Second prints were not common. They did not go to second prints very often. It really had to be something that had to sell out, and then they went to a second print. So second prints were usually much lower print runs and sometimes much higher collectible. You guys remember the issue with the Hulk where it's like his silhouette and in the background it's a blast? It was the first introduction of the intelligent Hulk. They call him the Professor Hulk, which was in the last movie. That issue ended up having 4 prints, and the 4th print is worth thousands in really good condition because of how low print run it had.
Wait, yeah, right.
Yeah, it's really up there. But this is a beautiful book, and I got it, and I'm really happy about it.
That's awesome. It looks great.
This one is kind of, I paid a little bit too much for this one, but that's okay. This is X-Men number 3 from the Jim Lee era. Just because there's so many books from when we were collecting that I just want to have slabbed.
Yeah,
now I've read this a dozen times, so I know every page of it.
Yep.
So I don't need to open it. It just looks beautiful.
Yeah,
But
dude,
a 9.6, that's not bad. Not bad at all. This is one that I got just because it looked good. This is Fantastic Four number 236 from 1981. It's a anniversary issue of Fantastic Four.
Is that John Byrne?
I believe it's a John Byrne cover. John Byrne and cover and story and art. But just a gorgeous looking cover with a whole bunch of people. And you see back in the corner, Stan the Man is on the cover.
That's awesome, man.
But it's a 9.4 copy, so it's pretty gorgeous. Now, this is the one I showed Todd last night that I got really excited about. I watched the TV show as a kid, but not religiously, so it wasn't one that I had to watch. I was familiar with it. I never collected the comics. I never knew anything about it, but this is the Gold Key, and be honest with you, anything Gold Key with those painted covers looks so fantastic.
Yeah.
This is Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, issue number 4 from 1979. But it's the Gold Key edition with a gorgeous painted cover. It's a 9.4, so it's in really, really damn good condition.
That's amazing.
Nice.
But it's a beautiful looking book. And the guy had like half a dozen of these books, and I ended up winning 2 of them. That one, and this is issue number 13. Another one that actually has Buck on the cover.
That is awesome.
I loved that show.
Yeah,
I loved Aaron Gray.
Oh yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
And Mel Blanc doing Twiggy.
Yep. So those 2. Oh, hold on, just a quick second.
That's right. It was Mel Blanc, wasn't it?
Yeah. What's up, Buck?
I got a outbid on that. All right. So last week I showed you guys, I got a copy of Star Wars, the Marvel Star Wars, the original Marvel Star Wars, issue number 12. Well, I ended up winning several more issues, and some of them just random issues, but love every single one of them. This is issue number 45 from 1981. It's a 9.4 copy, and it's got Luke on the cover, facing off against one of the probe droids. So a 9.4 copy. It's just
is that like an
name.
Al Williamson cover? Who did that?
Let's see. Larry Hama and Al Milgrom cover.
Al Milgrom. Okay.
Archie Goodwin story, Carmen Infantino and Chick Stone art. Death of Admiral Damon Krall, Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 team up. Well, that's good. That's good to know. This is issue.
I do have to say, like, the comics any comic looks so much better when it's slabbed.
Well, you know, the funny part is these are in these plastic bags. Some of these plastic bags they're just there to protect them, but you take them out of the plastic bag and they look even better. But this is issue number 51 of the Star Wars series. It's got Luke fighting up against
an AT-AT.
No, it's not an AT-AT. It's one of the 2-legged ones. But still, actually, this is who did the cover on this one? It's a Walt Simonson cover. Interior by Walt Simonson and Tom Palmer.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. And this is also a 9.4. This is an issue I actually had. This is issue number 56 of Star Wars. This has Lobot and Lando fighting on the cover.
That's wicked. That's definitely a Simonson cover.
I believe so. Yes, it is. Interior and as well as cover.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Love
I
it.
need to track some.
That's right. MK says an ATST.
Yeah, I need to track those Walter Simonson ones down, dude. I need
Oh,
those.
yeah. Next up is issue number 64, also a 9.4.
Oh God, those covers
And
are
that
so good.
no, hold on a second. This is Joe Brzezowski and Brett Anderson did the cover,
That's a great cover.
but still, it's very cool. Very cool.
God,
Now this is probably the lowest grade of all the ones I got. It was an 8.5, but it's just another like gorgeous looking cover. I believe that's
Wow.
Leia. That's Leia with the bad guy coming at her in the reflection of her underwater mask.
Those Star Wars covers are really freaking good, man.
Every single one of them, in my mind, I would love to own. Now, I did not own a lot of these as a kid.
Yeah, me
I only
neither.
owned maybe 4 issues of Star Wars total.
Mhm.
So finding some of them, and it's awesome. I did not know. I mean, I probably could have known, but they also had annuals. This is king size, giant size annual number 2.
Look at that shot.
Very
That's so
prominent,
cool.
prominent Han Solo on the cover. So gotta love it. And that's also a 9.4. So
You got some good books, man. I have to
yeah.
assume that like anything in a 9 point anything Star Wars is pretty good, especially considering they came in the 70s. Like it's not like it came out yesterday.
Early 80s, yeah. This is another one I picked up just because it was low enough that I could throw it in and still be okay. This is Iron Man number 162 from 1982. Same time frame as those books there, but it's got a really cool cover, and it was a 9.4. It has no significance other than the fact if you're an Iron Man fan, that's just freaking cool. You know?
Yeah, I like that era suit. That's one of my favorite Iron Man suits.
Yep.
Me too.
Now, I know I told you guys the story about how a package was delivered and it wasn't at my doorstep. That was Friday, the last time we did the show. The next day, the package was on my doorstep with a little note from a neighbor saying this was delivered to the wrong house by accident. Sorry we didn't get it to you sooner. We were out of town.
Oh, super nice.
No problem. Yep. But these are the 5 books that was in that box, including Incredible Hulk number 338. This is a 9.6 copy of an McFarlane. And this is one I know I had as a kid.
Wow.
And absolutely loved it. This is just awesome.
Who did that cover?
It's McFarlane.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
That's a Nolan cover, dude.
Oh, hold on a second.
That's a Nolan cover. Come on.
Nope. It's a Steve Geiger and Bob McLeod cover.
Okay.
Todd McFarlane did the interior art. But still, it's a nice looking cover.
That's excellent.
Next up is, I don't know if you guys remember this or not. It happened in 2016, but Venom became a Space Knight. Venom Space Knight number 1. It's a 9.6
cool cover.
copy. Yeah, it's what's his name? Oliverdi.
Yeah, he's
Ariel Oliverdi. Yeah, he did the interior art as well as the cover. But Venom Space Knight eventually became part of Guardians of the Galaxy and joined that team for a while. And yeah, well, whatever. This is one of those ones that I grabbed because it was cheap and nobody was bidding on it. But this is Civil War II, issue number 3. What does it say? Here's the significant Death of the Hulk, Bruce Banner. Yeah, well, that didn't last very long. But it had a kind of cool cover with the Hulk versus Iron Man. And it was a 9.6, so just kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And the last one I picked up, it was cheap, and you guys probably will know why. But do you remember when Marvel did their epic line, the Shadow Line saga? And it crossed over through several different titles, including this one, Dr. Zero number 1. This is from 1988. It has a gorgeous, crazy Uncle Bill. No, that's Crazy Uncle Bill.
That's
not
Bill Sienkiewicz. That is not. Are you sure that? Yeah, I guess you're right.
I am absolutely certain.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yep.
But it was a 9.2. It's just I liked it for the cover, and yeah. Actually, he did all the books in this particular line. I think there were 4, maybe 5. I'll have to double check, but he did the covers for the first issue on all of them.
To this
So-
day, I still don't know how he does his style.
But I went to a show on Sunday with Mike down in Daytona, and I picked up a bunch of books. I actually got a really good deal on a long box of comics, and in that long box of comics was a whole bunch of old John Carter, Warlord of Mars.
Oh, you got some more.
And I got a bunch of these. These I may potentially just send them off to be graded just to have them graded because
Mhm.
they are freaking like this gorgeous books.
Oh yeah.
Now, granted, these are like honestly, they were like, and I've got a whole bunch more down here that just I haven't bagged and boarded them yet because I've been pressing pretty much everything as I've been
So I
going
wanted to talk about this, Andrew. We need to
Okay,
tell we need to bring this up. We need to tell Dusty. We should, congratulations again on putting your 7 months in at your day job. But we definitely need to tell Dusty and Zach and Avery the new odd addiction that you have. I mean, some people eat toilet paper, I get that, I guess. But your latest kind of
Dusty, would
habit.
you call our love an addiction? I mean, really? I think so.
He left. He left. He didn't even. He left.
Did he kick the wrong person?
No.
No, he
he's
saved
done.
himself.
He saved
Okay.
himself.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, jeez Louise. You should bring him back just so I could torture him some more.
No, like he like
He left.
uninstalled his browser.
Yeah, he left. He's like, screw it. I'm taking the opportunity to restart my computer, clean the viruses that are in his space. There he is.
I only licked the computer. I didn't do anything else to it.
Oh.
No. No. Hey, Dusty, how you doing, man?
Dear.
Buddy, how you doing?
Everything's good. Everything's fine. No?
Is there anything you'd like
He's
to add
waiting.
here?
Like he hasn't let Andrew back on yet.
Oh no, I didn't kick him there. Todd kicked him there.
Oh,
Stop messing with me. We've done worse, Dusty.
Jesus Christ, Andrew.
Welcome to the club, Dusty.
we've done worse.
And only
It's
half
not
of
like
it-
it's not like this is recorded and broadcast to a live audience. For
and
an
the honest
extended
truth
period.
is only half of it is on video. So I mean, there's enough that you can still, claim we never did. But all right, so my two new addictions.
Yeah,
CGC slabbed books, which you
Mhm.
guys have experienced with me.
Mhm.
And my second new addiction is I'm freaking pressing everything. I literally bought
wait. I just want to clarify when you bought the pressing machine so that you could press the books. Normal people with these
normal
machines,
people. Who knows normal people?
they press these books. They basically they're getting books and they press them so that it can potentially increase the value when you slab them.
Yes.
Right? You, just so that I understand, because we talked about this, you are pressing quarter bin comics, meaning everything. Quarter bin is like water damage. You're pressing quarter bin comics, but then I asked you, oh, okay, you're pressing your quarter bin comics. Are you then moving them to dollar bin comics? And you said no.
Nope.
You're just taking quarter bin comics, pressing them, and putting them right back where they were.
You know
Is
what?
this correct?
It's experience to learn to get better at pressing.
Yeah.
Good practice.
It is.
It's
That is
great
true.
practice for something, I guess.
And with my press, I could put two comics side by side and press two comics at a time. With the quarter bin comics, I put a second layer and do 4 comics at a time. Because honestly, if they get screwed up, or like if a page is folded and it gets pressed folded, it was a quarter comic to begin with. I had bought a collection from a guy where a stack of the books were water damaged on the bottom. And I was like, that's cool. I got a press. Let me see if I can press those out. And of the 20 or so comics that were damaged, 4 or 5 pressed well enough that I could put them in the dollar bin. The rest of them still wasn't comfortable putting $1 on them. So they're going in the quarter bin, but as I intended them to. But I'm literally pressing almost everything that goes into the store now, that unless it's like brand new, which by the way, I did go to the comic book store and bought 4 new comics for this week, which by the way, take a wild guess how much money I spent on 4 comics.
Oh, well, comics are dead because the price, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but I'm going to guess you spent $20 on 4 books.
4 books cost me $24 and change.
What?
I
Well, okay,
know.
hold on. What books did you get? Hey, what's up, KG? How you doing?
Hey, KG.
Welcome. What books did you get for
$24?
$24?
I know. 2 books were $4.99 each. One was, they were both from Boom Studios. One was Coda Volume 2, Number 1, which is Simon Spurrier and Matthias Berga. And I absolutely adored their first series. I love the art in it. And when I saw this, I was like, ooh, hot damn. And I also had to flip through it and make sure they weren't reprinting the first issue. But the art in here was just so great. It's very European a little bit, but I loved it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And to get the first issue of Volume 2, I was willing to pay $5. Now, granted, I will probably find it in quarter bins later, but I don't care. And the other one I picked up is there was a series from Boom Studios. Dan Panosian was writing it, and he did some of the art in it called Alice Ever After, which I have that one slabbed copy of issue number 2 with the Adam Hughes variant cover. Well, they did a second series called Alice Never After. And this is issue number 1. And I honestly wanted to read it. And I didn't want to wait for it to hit a quarter bin or a 50-cent bin. I wanted to read it now because I really enjoyed the art and the story in the first series, and
That's awesome.
Looking forward to it. But literally, those 2 books were $10. You guys have any idea how many comics I could buy with $10 on a normal basis? All right, next up, I'm continuing I'm buying it for the cover series to potentially slab and sell for the cover. This is, I'm actually looking forward to reading it. But this is Batman and Robin number 1, the new series. It has this is the Art Germ variant with the bunny rabbit girl. That's definitely, if the inside, the story and the art stinks, then you got the cover.
Yeah,
But
well,
that
Art Germ is awesome.
That's a $5.99 comic.
Now, see, that I could see buying, because if you slap that, you could easily sell that for 10.
Well,
just based. I mean, I know that just based on the cover, I know, but
yeah. Well, slapping it costs more than that. But the other one I bought was one that when I saw the advertisement for it, I really, really, really wanted to check it out. It is Batman Gargoyle of Gotham number 1. This is the square bound edition written and drawn by Raphael Grandpa.
Right, KG says that was a hell of a cover, that Art Germ.
Oh yeah. Well, this is believe it or not, I had a choice of 3 covers. I picked up the Frank Miller cover because this cover actually didn't look too damn bad compared to some of the Frank Miller covers that have been coming out lately.
No, it's not bad at all.
But this is a double-sized issue. It was $6.99. This is a $7 comic.
Purely because Frank Miller was on the cover.
Well, no. The other one was the other versions were also $6.99, but it's a square bound book, so it's not a regular comic.
Yeah.
But it's Raphael Grandpa. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but look at how he draws Batman.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm so looking forward to reading this.
Wait, was that the Grenade book, or is this a new one?
This is a brand new book, brand new series.
Okay, so because that first one was popular, so now he's writing another one with Frank Miller.
Yes. Well, no, it's not with Frank Miller. He's writing and drawing this. Frank Miller just did the alternate cover.
Oh, okay, because the first issue, Frank Miller wrote it, and Grandpa
yes,
drew it,
that was the tie into Dark Knight 3 that he did, the Golden Child.
Right.
Which was actually, it was very confusing, but the art was beautiful. The art was gorgeous. So story-wise, I don't know if it was any good or not, but I enjoyed looking at the art. So I bought those 4 books, and with tax, cost me $24 for 4
God.
comics. I don't know why anybody is buying modern comics anymore.
What? There's no reason. And well, how much is the graphic novel going to be? Like $50? Like,
Who knows? But I bought a long box full of comics this past weekend for $30.
yep. And there are probably way better stories in there.
And there was 322 comics in that box.
Yep.
In other words,
Yeah.
a lot of potential resale stuff.
Yeah.
But there was something in that box that I wanted to show you, Todd. I mentioned to you
right.
yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to show it to you.
Yep.
So let's continue with the Drew show.
For sure. We can continue with the Drew show, and I got some good AI stuff coming up. So
do you
Let's see.
remember this special edition of Wizard, the guide to comics?
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Absolutely. Absolutely classic, man. Wow.
What I think is very funny is the inside of it says, "Finally, a book you can judge by its cover."
That's pretty funny.
So I got that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Issue number 21 with a Jay Lee
Oh.
Youngblood cover. Issue number 18 with, I believe this is when Bart Sears was going under a pseudonym.
Yes.
Pseudonym, yeah. Because he wasn't allowed.
Yep.
I don't know how did they not know that it was like Bart Sears' style is very unique.
Issue number 15 with the Will
Classic.
Sportacio
I
Wetworks
used to have that
cover.
issue. Yeah.
Yep. And this was also a fold out.
Where did you get this?
These were all in that box that I paid $30 for,
Wow.
which I really shouldn't tell people how much I paid for them, but
You should slap those, man. Those are worth something now. Oh.
Sam Keith and Dale Keown
I
doing the cover together.
you got to reread those interviews. I bet they're really good.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And there's also this one like has the one of the card insert, the Wetworks card insert still in here. I mean, dude, flipping through these could make a couple of shows, you know?
Oh yeah.
We should absolutely go through those.
But these are ones I picked up that were part of that set. So, and
We could do that. We could maybe next Friday we'll pick one of those and go through it and read the interview and talk about it.
This was actually a pull-out wraparound cover.
They'd make good videos if to record. Actually,
if you want to sell that Jay Lee one, I'll take it.
Yeah, they'd make good videos, Todd. Do the stream in private, record it, edit it, and put together a show.
Yeah, and cut out all my bad comments. So
KG says, reminds me I have a stack of Wizards from the early 90s. I really need to dig out my comic boxes. Yeah, KG, for real, man. Like, let's go. Get them out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Share. Let's see what you got. Dude, that was awesome, man.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, that was wicked, man. All right, so that's actually a good segue because one of the things that I've been looking at is, and you guys know this, we've talked about it here. We've talked about it here quite a bit. Is how AI is changing things, and one of the MK says thanks, Drew. Don't encourage him, MK.
Got to be careful. Dusty encouraged me, and now he's pregnant. So. I really thought I was going to get kicked.
He's just too stunned. He's just too stunned.
Hey, I wasn't the one that made the "you're pregnant" joke at the beginning of the show, so somebody else started it. I don't remember who it was, but somebody else started it. Okay, Jesus, OMG. Yep, we are.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. All right. Anyway,
making mud babies.
Oh God. Anyway, so one of the things that we've been looking at for quite a while is how to do so. Like adult fantasy is not just comics, obviously. Like we're not like a comic company, but we also understand that comics historically are one of the best ways to generate world building and lore. Like you can do it quickly, fairly cheaply. It's just pen and paper. And you can really bang out some stories and get people engaged, and all of us as a community can create and do everything together. And so there's a huge upside in what the medium of comics has. The challenge with comics is the time frame in the production time, because even though it's quicker than, say, making a movie, you're still drawing every single page and you have to write it like it's a production. And so one of the things that I've had my eye on is I'm always looking at how we can shortcut the process, how we can kind of how can we do this and kind of create a new way of doing this where the result is the same, a good quality comic on a regular basis, so that we can get these characters more out there, so we can tell the stories we want to tell, so that we can play the RPG, invent characters, invent stories, and bring them into print, and even if it's digital print, doesn't matter. Like, how can we do this? And so I've had my eye on AI for quite some time, since it really came out. And there's been some things lately that have come up that are starting to get to the point where I really am starting to think that we can do this really, like, we can really go hard on this. And so I'm going to probably over the next few weeks, I'm going to start investigating and actually like doing some of this AI stuff, just kind of messing around with it. So full disclosure, right now, I'm a super noob. I mean, I've watched some tutorial videos and stuff, so I have an idea of it, but I haven't done it yet. And so my language, I'm a little bit of a newbie at it, but I wanted to share some of the stuff with you to especially kind of give you an idea of where things are headed, because it's really going to change fucking everything. Like, it's really cool. So give me 1 second. View. All right, cool. And here, oops. Awesome. So check this out. So this is TensorArt. So TensorFlow is a AI model. It's been out for a while. I think back in the day, Melissa and I interviewed the guy who was in charge of TensorFlow, like helped invent it. Did like a meetup way back in the day. But it's huge. Anyway, TensorArt is a platform. And when you first look at it, you're like, it kind of looks like everything else. It's like, oh, okay, here are people doing, like, if you've ever seen Midjourney or anything else, it kind of looks like this. Like, you can see the renders that people have. I have to be a little careful because TensorArt is based on, it's not Midjourney, it's based on Stable Diffusion, which I believe Midjourney is also based on. Midjourney, I believe, is a fork of Stable Diffusion. But Stable Diffusion, which is awesome, is also they don't censor, right? So whereas Midjourney is very like censorship heavy, Stable Diffusion is not. So I do have to be a little careful. I don't think they present any nudity on their presentation pages, but you absolutely can generate nudity. So you just got to be very careful. Anyway, what this is not Midjourney. What TensorArt is it's basically an access point to Stable Diffusion, because Stable Diffusion is amazing, but to run it, it's a program that you run locally on your PC. So you have to download it. You have to run a Python script. You have to go into your terminal. You have to kind of understand code a little bit, and it's very CPU heavy, meaning you can't have like a computer potato. You have to have like a pretty good machine to kind of render this stuff. And even with all of that, it renders kind of slow. Okay. So what TensorArt is it's a 100% free point of access to access and create using Stable Diffusion. So you don't have to download any software. You just go to TensorArt and you can use the service. Okay. So that's the first thing, where you get to kind of do Midjourney for free, but wait, there's more. Okay, so if that was it, that'd be kind of cool. But that's not what has me interested. What has me interested is this tab over here called Models. And see, Stable Diffusion, because it's an open source app, it allows people to create whatever they want to create. And so what is happening is that people are downloading Stable Diffusion on their computers. And because these are clean instances of an AI, okay, they are able to program certain styles. So you can now create a style, and what these people are doing is re-uploading it to TensorArt so that you can actually mix and match styles. So for instance, if I wanted to click this flat, here's this flat style design right here, I can click on it and you can see that whereas in Midjourney, I would have to say cartoon girl, sitting, like I can just kind of talk about what I want that character to have, and everything, because this is a flat style, everything it renders is going to be in a flat style because it has been trained in a flat style. Does it make sense? So you're not going to get, if you use this, if you ran this model, you're not going to get a 3-dimensional woman that looks realistic. Make sense?
Yeah.
MK says you build off their base model and keep that in genre. Exactly. And you can mix and match. And so I was like, oh, hell, like people are actually creating their own styles. And you can see, of course, anime is really popular, a lot of fantasy, a lot of realism and stuff like this. And that's pretty cool. And then I started to see stuff like this anime girl, which is really realistic in terms of like an anime style, right? Like, and again, I have to be a little careful because I don't know what they're going to show. But, so
that does not have a bunch of the flaws.
That's right. And it's also, that's the other thing is that because these are, so this is the other thing. When you're using Midjourney, you're getting access to a massive data set. Okay. When you're using this model, when you're running somebody else's model, you're only getting what it's been trained on. Okay. So if this was only trained on art like this style, it's almost like it has a clear ability to see how the fingers work, to see the color. It understands the model better because it's not getting all of these crazy outside sources.
Yeah.
MK says, oh man, that's going to allow for true community style support of a project. Yeah, boy. MK's on it. He knows exactly where I'm headed. So like I said, you can create, you can run any character you want and it's going to be in the style. Right?
Yeah, there's a few of those where it still messed up the hand and only drew 3 fingers. The thing is, though, you or I could fix that in Photoshop. Click, click.
Now wait, there's more. So check this out. So I started looking at stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, we got to really look at this. So the first thing is you can see there are people now there are prompts now where you can do model sheets. So this is a character, and that character has different faces, and those faces are pretty similar. Like that's actually the same character, more or less. Right? Like you can kind of tell on the screen, like that's definitely the same character. There you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the way that the LoRa model or one of the other models works is you're giving it you're basically giving it turnarounds. If you do the head from this way, up, down, the more information it has, the more accurate the face is going to be, and the clothing and the body and all of that kind of stuff, right? So you can do these roles where you're getting the face. You could take these faces, pop it into your own LoRa model, and generate your own character, and it would actually have that style. Make sense? And you just process it until you get the face you want. And so then I was like, well, that's just cool, but let me dive in because, for whatever, I know manga and anime is super popular. We've been looking at manga and anime since 1993 or whatever. So I still have my Appleseed books and my old school, we were here back in the day when
we were watching Voltron and Robotech when we were kids.
We were here when it first came to shores. So we're some old school anime manga heads here. So I understand that manga and anime are the most popular right now, but I was like, well, let me look up comic. So all of a sudden, this is when the light bulb went off. You ready for this? Hey, Andrew, how would you like to do a Blue Beetle comic? Look, it's just rolling Blue Beetle.
And it's getting it pretty right most of the time.
Yeah. Now, for us, right? For the artists, because again, it still has a little ways to go, but it's really freaking close.
Yeah.
Like for us, this I saw this and I was like, you're basically talking like you basically can now do your storyboards, do your thumbnail layouts, right? And then roll your characters, collage what you want in Photoshop, print it out, sketch it out, use that as the rough draft, and have your final page.
Yeah, this could absolutely cut down some time.
Major time.
Because a lot of times figuring all that out is the hard part.
Hey, Avery, how about Rogue?
Oh, nice.
So here's Rogue in different costumes. Again, it's just whatever the artist, whatever the designer, the Laura creator put in here. But that's Rogue, man. Look at this. Almost classic. Like, has the jacket, has the color shirt, has the hair, right?
Yeah.
And now look at this. That's definitely Rogue.
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is the 90s one. Watch the next three. These are three completely different roles, right? But that's Rogue. That's Rogue. That's Rogue.
Yeah. Anything wrong with those, I can easily fix, adjust, then redraw it.
You could sketch that out and fix it in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Then
right?
Print it, ink it, and I've got a great drawing.
MK says, love the explanation of thought. Awesome, man. Good. Basically, and Avery, correct me if I'm wrong. Andrew, Avery, correct me if I'm wrong here. But at least for me, the hardest parts of the comic from a product, the hardest parts, the longest parts, the storytelling, the thumbnail storytelling, where you're actually getting the pacing,
figuring all that out, and drafting the rough draft to get the volume control and the perspective, the rough on the page. Yes.
Right? Now, for me personally, the storytelling part, even though it's the most difficult part, it's not difficult drawing, it's difficult thinking. Because the drawing is like you're just drawing stick figures.
Yes.
Basically.
But so planning it all out can be.
I love that part. But drawing the actual anatomy and the shapes and getting your volume correct and your perspective, that's like 75% of your day.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
That's the hard part. The drawing of the details, adding your flair, your style, that's fun. That's like turn your brain off.
Yeah. Especially the inking. Inking is absolute playtime.
It's totally playtime. And so what I'm seeing this as is we're getting rid of one of the most like bulky jobber, like it's not as important as like getting the drawing volume control down. It's not as important as the storytelling, and it's not as fun as the actual inking and kind of like the draftsmanship, the craft.
Yeah.
But it's mandatory because you have to draw your volumes and the figures and the buildings and all that. You have to do it. And so if you can use this to roll your characters and roll your story and basically get it as best you can to your pages, you don't have to just trace this off. Like if we needed her hand open or her arm up or her that's easy.
Yeah,
right?
To fix this properly, you still have to know how to draw.
That's right. Yeah, totally. But it's this is what's so exciting for an artist right now. We're done. Like this is it. Like we can absolutely use this. For a community, it's like a few months away.
Yeah.
Like I was like maybe next summer. It might be before the end of the year with this. So let me show you something else because I want to show you what some people have done. Hey, Andrew, do you know Circe from DC Comics?
Yes.
How's that?
Oh
wow. Very Bruce Timm.
There you go.
You just have to fix the hand.
That's right. Bruce Timm, baby. So this person took Bruce Timm's art, trained his own Laura with Bruce Timm's art, and now you have, look at this. Tell me that's not like Bruce Timm.
Hey Todd.
Right?
Todd, quick question.
Yeah.
So with Stable Diffusion, you can actually include negative prompts, and that actually helps clean up a lot of the issues they have with like bad hands. Does
Correct.
this thing have that as well?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
So that might help actually.
It does. Yeah. You can add, when you do your prompts, you can add negative prompts.
All right.
And so, but you look at this, man, like that's a Bruce Timm on fire. Like it's Bruce Timm, but it's got the voluptuousness of like
of like what Midjourney does with like realistic
Yeah.
women. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, look how crazy that is. Like, that's straight up. If that was in a comic, I would like, let's go. Like, that's so good. And you can tell that it's the same. It's the
Face.
same character.
Yep.
It's the same face because he trained it on Bruce Timm. Right. So there's another one. I think it's a different person. Same guy. This is Black Canary. Look how good that looks.
Dude, that's anything wrong with that is so fixable, easy.
Isn't that amazing? Like the buildings, he even trained it on the backgrounds. Like, look how good this is.
It's so fixable, and then I would just drop that underneath for most of the color and repaint underneath and fix what I didn't want. And I mean, because I would actually redraw all of it.
Yep.
Or almost all of it.
So would I.
And so I could even have an original that's been hand inked.
Yep.
But then use that for my color palette or an actual layer underneath my colors.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. The other thing that's amazing about this, and Avery, you kind of nailed it, is that it's a perfect colorist. Like for me, if like I think the first job that would be in danger from like a comic production standpoint would be the colorist, because you very soon you're going to be able to take an original black and white art piece, upload it to Stable Diffusion or something else, and say color like this style, and it's going to turn out like this.
Oh yeah, or even give it a color palette reference, a photo for a color palette reference, and it'll be like color, and it'll be able to analyze your drawing, going, this is a figure, this is a building, this is the sky, and it's going to.
Yep. Look how good that is.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, dude. There's people like, okay, to do that coloring style. For me, I'm not the fastest colorist in the world. I'm not the best, but I think I'm pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
That would take a day, maybe 2.
Yep.
Just to color.
Yep.
But with that as a starting point,
the background's fully painted. The background's animated.
Yeah, it's a fully painted style background.
But
there's ways to make black and white drawings look like that digitally pretty quick.
And here's the thing about tensor art and all of these models, you can merge and mix these models. So if you wanted this, but you wanted it black and white or gray tone or ink line, you could actually take in another I'm pretty sure you can take in like another model that says ink and merge them so you have the ink line.
Insane.
Right?
Huge time saver.
Huge time saver. Check this one out.
Well, like the piece that's my profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
All those different bits of buildings and bits of outer space that are in that piece of art.
Yep.
Are all AI. They're all pieces taken from an AI. Could I have painted that in Photoshop? Yes, but it would have been a full day's work.
Yep.
Just for a background.
That's right. Now this one is the 2000s comic style. But look at that, dude. That's like, hey Andrew. Right?
Yeah, there you.
It does
like
look cool.
It's a little bit of Telos and a little bit of Mike Waringo, a little bit of Joe Madureira, right?
Yeah, but that's these are potential hero characters.
That's pretty. How's that for a hero character, Andrew?
I could do better. No, but honestly, I like the clothing. I like the way the clothing looks on the character.
Look at that one. That's
I
cool.
struggle sometimes with clothing design. So
yeah, me too. But how cool is that one right there? Right?
Very cool.
Again, even if it was just like a breakdown sketch, like you don't want to give up your style. You don't want to just copy paste.
No.
But if you needed the clothing, or you needed the pose, or you needed the face, like drawing a chipmunk's kind of hard. So boom, you render your chipmunk character and you're good to go. Right?
Oh, drawing a chipmunk's not that hard. I mean, come on.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying.
To me. You're talking to me.
And then this was actually
the Master Furry.
I did pick one for Andrew, and that would be this one.
That's how Dusty got pregnant.
I was just gonna say that's
I got kicked. He got kicked. I didn't even get kicked for that.
That's because Dusty's a bitch.
But that's pretty good. But that's pretty good, Andrew, right? Like, I mean, I know it's a little different, but there you go, right?
Furry thirst trap.
Furry thirst trap.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, like, look at this, and then you got the oh yeah, I'm in the water, But anyway, and there's one more I want to show you guys, but I'm gonna stop the screen for just a second to pull it up because I have to find it. But it's pretty crazy, right? And so the deal is like we now have the ability now speaking from a production side, adult fantasy side, just speaking for myself, like we now can like. I'm going to jump into here. Definitely down the road, I think we need to have it like maybe local or something. But this tensor art also allows you to create your own models. So you can do your own models on their site. And so we have characters. If I sit down, maybe after the tabletop RPG is live, so we can play it on Lore Games. If we start doing like the turnarounds of the characters, we can start generating poses of those characters and it'll be very, very accurate. And so not only will that help us in production time for producing work, but it also opens up to community, to what MK nailed, community participation, so that if you want to create your own character in the style, go for it. Or if you want to create your own comics, your own stories, it's just a matter of having fun and playing with it and not worrying about any of the hard stuff, right? Like, isn't that crazy?
It's great.
It's amazing. And so, okay, so this is the last one. Now, I do have to, I am going to say that it's a little weird. There's anime, manga, it's going to have like panties and weird looking stuff, but I do want to share it. I think it does have value. So you've been warned,
Warning.
Should I not show this one?
Warn.
The black and white one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
Should I not show it?
Show me in private. I want to download it.
I'll leave it to Dusty. You know why I want to show it. If you think it's a little, you know what? I'll show this frame. I'll show one frame.
All right.
Let me just say one. Oops.
It gets a little weird.
It gets a little weird. One, two.
Weird. Like good weird?
No, not good weird.
Good weird for you, Avery.
Oh.
Bad weird for us.
Oh.
Okay. I can show 2 pages. Check this out. So this is a comic manga page render.
Oh, the wrists. Ugh.
Yes, I'm showing you this one because it's like not perfect. I mean, there's some that are very good, but they're also a little more risque, and I don't.
Yeah, sure.
But
the thing is, though, this is all fixable and just redraw it.
Here's what I want to point out, because I've rendered comics in Midjourney. Like there are panels. This is a readable page, right? And the girl in the panels is the same girl.
Yeah.
That right there is huge, because rendering full comic pages is incredibly difficult, because you're asking the AI to render multiple renders in one image, right? And like you can see, she's walking down a hallway, there's a door and there's another door, so there's that. And then this is awesome. Like this is the only other one I can really show, but you can see that it looks like a full page splash manga. It's like the background, the building's perspective. It's also, what's his name? It's the style looks like the dude who did Gunsmith Cats, right? Kia Asamiya or something like that. So it's really, really, really cool. And MK says, this is great. Can't wait for you to put the playground out for when you put the boundaries up. Yeah, man. It's once we get this ready to go, because I do think not only do I think we now have the ability, if we can we'll have to still cobble it together, but we have the ability to generate characters and backstories with the role-playing game. With the character generator, we have a ability to tell stories with the RPG in a playful way. So you're not just sitting there behind a typewriter or computer screen. Like you play the game and you now have a story. And now we're moving into an area where not only can you generate your own character or use one of the pre-existing characters, but you'll actually be able to tell stories with them, create battles with them. Hey, you want your character fighting Beelzebubby? Cool. Like, roll for it. Like, go for it. Right? With just a little bit of editing, you'll be able to have a full comic book, or whatever you want. Your own characters, your own stories, your own products, right? And so that's where we're headed, is like your own products, your own stories, and all of us kind of building this together. I'm very excited. Like, I saw this when I saw people were actually able to like take their own styles, or like that Bruce Timm style. When I saw you can take Bruce Timm and put it on a model and everything looks like it's Bruce Timm and it's the same fucking character, I'm like, it's on. Like, I can't tell you how crazy it is to look at this and realize that she's wearing the fucking same costume, basically. Like, it got the costume, more or less. Do you know what I mean? Like, it got the costume. Like, it's done. Like, it knows how to do backgrounds. Backgrounds are easy, buildings and all that kind of stuff. And now it can do characters.
And she's thick, boy.
Yeah, I know. Now you can do characters, and you can do the same characters, and so it's over. Like, now, and there's other tools like ControlNet. So one of the things with like there are now posing models. So you can actually put in, like, let's say I wanted Black Canary jumping forward in a really strong way. Okay, I could go and I could say, I could either sketch it myself, right, and say this pose, and it would put her in that pose. And it would be rough because it's not perfect yet, but it would put her in that pose. Or if I couldn't draw, I could be like, you know what? I really want her in a pose like Savage Dragon #1, where he's jumping forward really strong. I could take that drawing of Savage Dragon, put it in there. It recognizes the pose of the figure and will put her in that pose. That's where we are. And
Pretty
so
awesome.
I'm like, this is great. Like, this is fantastic, right? And so I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at Japanese manga, like the weekly stuff, to see how they pace the stories out, and to see what they're cutting and what they're adding and how they're able to produce. Because those guys are producing a weekly comic by not going outside and not seeing their families. And I'm like, maybe we can do like a bi-weekly or a monthly comic, combining some actual technology and making it doing some cutting edge shit. And I'm very excited about that. So,
how many of those the books that are being produced in China and whatnot are using AI now?
very few.
Yeah.
Really?
But they are
None
a
of
lot
them.
of them using computer models.
Well, yeah.
So the
like
Japanese,
the Naruto, that comic, that's
Yep.
all models.
yeah, it's all models. The Japanese are not American, meaning they don't have the same hangups that we do. Like, if we sit and do AI models and we're using computer stuff like that, like people will freak out. While at the same time, you know, I've got models up here that are physical, that if I pose them, I can see the angles and the shapes. Like, that's okay, but an AI model is not. So whereas the Japanese don't have any hangups, they use photography. They don't, if they have the option of drawing a background versus taking a photo of a background and taking that photo and rendering it to look like a drawing, they're going to do that because they have a deadline to meet and it doesn't hurt the story. Like, the one thing that I respect about the Japanese, I respect a lot about the Japanese, but in terms of manga production, comic production, they don't call it a comic book. It's not art. They literally call it a manuscript. It's a manuscript. It's a script. It is a story. And so whether you have to draw the buildings in the background or whether you can take a photo of the buildings and copy paste it in the background, it doesn't matter. Just get it done. You've got a deadline. Tell the story.
Even
Right.
back in the 80s, when there would be backgrounds in manga that were pure zipatone. And I mean, these weren't like patterned backgrounds always. It would be a forest, mountains, buildings. It was just a zip-toned background. It was not drawn.
That's right.
It was a screen tone put down for that background.
That's right.
Now, if it was an important shot of like a certain extreme perspective shot of the building, well, then the artist drew it. and put
Yep.
screen tones for the shading. But if it was
So-
just a static mid-level, eye level shot of the city, it might entirely be screen tone. They didn't draw anything; they just drew the character.
100%. And so this is just to give you an example. This is the comic model section, not manga or anime, even though it still has some manga anime in there. But like here's Killer Frost. So what people are doing now is they're creating Laura models of individual characters, right? And so it's coming. Like you can totally see where it's coming when you're like, oh wait, there's Rogue, there's Killer Frost, there's Circe, right? There's Artemis from Young Justice. Like you can kind of start to see where this is headed. And so in a couple years, I have no doubt all of this will be like you'll buy these. You can probably buy them now, but it's free here. But I'm sure there's places where you can buy them.
And there's going to be pros using this and not telling anybody.
That's exactly right. They're
because what they'll do is they'll redraw it and ink it all by hand.
Yeah,
and you won't be able to tell.
of course, you could do that now. Like here's
exactly.
Vixen. Like, hopefully, please God, don't have any nudity. I think this is going to be okay. This is the same guy that did the Bruce Timm thing, so it should be all right. Like, look how dope that is, dude.
Yeah, that's great.
That's fantastic. Right?
Yeah, you did a great job.
It's absolutely incredible. And so I'm really excited. I want to look at this Catwoman. I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That Catwoman's very that's very art germ in a way.
Yeah.
A little more realistic.
A little too realistic for me, but yeah, the backgrounds are nice and kind of.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting to the point like you're not going to be able to tell, and I would be surprised. I would not be surprised if there was a ton of comic artists already using this and not telling anybody.
Yeah, some of these already look like covers I've seen,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're using it. They're just not telling anyone. They're not. It's like, listen, if they're redrawing it and inking it and stuff, and changing what doesn't work, I don't have a problem with it. Because to do that properly, you still have to know how to draw.
Yep.
If you don't know how to draw, you're not going to be able to fix these or have really good photo editing skills. You can fix these if you just have good photo editing skills also by blending in pieces of photographs and matching it to the painting.
Yeah. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, that's good.
This person did a great job. This is the same guy that did he's doing all the DC stuff with Bruce Timm. But that's a little more anime though. Wow, that's fucking dope. Look at the colors.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, man. Like we can do this with our own characters and it'll know the colors and it'll have the character colors and then we can just go to town.
And we can still create originals.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm excited. This stuff excites the shit out of me because it's going to allow us to produce.
The artists that are almost scared of this, and I think a lot of the hate comes from fear.
Oh yeah.
Don't realize, no, use it.
Well, that's the thing. They think that's going to put them out of work, and that's such a failure mentality. It's such a loser mentality to say, "Oh no, new technology, I'm going to lose my job." Hey, here's an idea. Why don't you use the technology to triple your output and make a fucking fortune for yourself?
Yeah.
Now, if you're working at Marvel or you're working at DC or you're working at Dark Horse, why not learn the technology and take 3 times as much work on and do like a third of the work?
Yeah.
Like produce, how about making a monthly book? Stop bitching about it and figure out how to bake it into your workflow and adapt.
Yeah.
Hey, MK agrees. Exactly. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I actually have some experience with this actually. Not from a artist writing standpoint, not from a drawing standpoint, but from like the writing standpoint. I've been working with AI on a project. I can't give the details for a number of very complicated reasons, but what I can say is that it really does triple the output. I mean, I was able to write literally be like the equivalent of about close to 250,000 words in less than 2 weeks, and I probably could have done it in 2 days if I wasn't working full time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now it does, now from a writing standpoint, it does have its downsides. The prose is good, but the AI can't write dialogue to save its life. So it's not going to take away anyone's job, and not at the moment anyway. You do have to go in there with a pretty fine tooth comb and fix what's there. But there are people who are actually right now publishing books, not really books, they're like short novellas. They're publishing not little stories of 10 to 20,000 words with AI, with supplemented with AI generated images. And they're selling. They're making money. They're not making, they're writers, so they're not making a lot of money, but they are making money.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the days of, look, like it or not, we all want to be like the guy who writes the 200,000 word epic, that changes the world. We all want to be like the next George R. R. Martin, or if you're a comic book guy, we all want to be the next Alan Moore, without the weirdness. And you spend 10 years slaving over a manuscript, and when it comes out, the praise and success that you get validates all the sacrifice. That world's ending. It ended a long time. It was never really around except a very few very lucky people.
Yeah.
But it's going away now because I hate to say it, people's attention spans are shorter. People, they don't, they don't really, and also, honestly, I like the idea of being able to write dozens of novels a year because you can explore more ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the AI does a lot of the work, but it's your ideas, your characters.
That's right.
You're the one who puts in the parameters. You get what you put out of it, and the more you put out of it, the more you put into it, the more it's going to be in your own voice.
That's right. MK says, watch Drew have Hero 4 out in the end of the month. Yeah, Andrew will never use AI, but I appreciate it.
I'm still a super huge traditionalist when it comes to my art and books. What I could use it for, and Avery has pushed this on me a bit, is the background designs. Because book 3 takes place in Hero's World version of China.
Mm.
And I don't draw Chinese stuff. I don't know why I came up with the idea of doing that. Book 4 is supposed to be a pirate adventure on a pirate ship. I've never drawn a pirate ship before, but that's what the story's going to be. AI could help me design the sets, or at least the look of some of the characters and some of the sets. And I'll do all the art, but it'll help me develop better looking, that's what I'm looking forward to using some of that stuff for.
And that will all speed up your process.
Yep.
I think it says a lot when I think it says a lot about this group and our community and MK, when we all have the same ideas and we're the mainstream people and kind of the, not to say younger people, but the people they're trying to shut it down because they're afraid they're going to lose their job. My reaction was to call Avery and be like, hey, Avery, I think we could do a weekly book. How would you like to do a weekly comic? And he's like, what crack are you smoking? What are you talking about, you freak? And I'm all of a sudden I have I know it's blue sky and I'm just daydreaming, but daydreaming is kind of the initial spark to creation. So, but I'm just holy shit, you theoretically could beat McFarlane's run. Because you'll actually have the ability to produce books faster than an artist can draw in a month. And granted, he's on issue 300 and whatever, so it's going to take you years if you wanted to try to beat him like that. Doesn't in sheer numbers, but you could absolutely do it. Not a problem.
Yeah,
not a problem.
I'm even looking at that. Depending on how good it looks, taking something like that, having a complete page done with that stuff.
Yep.
Print it, and then go in by hand with watercolors and color pencils, and then scan it back in to see how that looks. Because I've done that with photography, and it looks pretty cool.
Hey, Dusty and MK and KG, here's your next PFP project.
Nice. All I see is this helping my Taylor Swift project NFT project come to fruition.
That's right.
I mean, these aren't that bad compared to what's out there. I'm just
I
saying.
know. And they're consistent. There's a consistency in the face, dude.
This would probably do really well and make us all cry.
I know. I don't want to even think about it.
You should start another company with another name, and we should put together something and put it
Oh,
out.
we've talked about masturbating giraffes.
Nice.
Define
That's-
we.
That's the pickup line I used on Dusty.
Oh man. Hey, MK says LOL totally 10K PFP. It totally
Yeah.
is. Hey, Zach, check this out. This is a model called Dark Age.
What was that? Oh, okay.
This is a model card called Dark Age.
That's dope.
Nice.
And so
Even
Right.
painting digitally to create something in that vein, as close as I could, would still be days and days of work.
right? Pretty sick, right?
There are some people who paint digitally, dude, who can whip stuff like this out. Like
Of
it's
course. But now
I
you
wonder.
can too,
I wonder
right?
how many people out there, how many artists out there,
Oh.
throw shade against AI art and the idea of using it or creating it, are doing it because they're afraid of how other people react when they find out they're using it. Kind of like, at the very beginning of NFTs, where
Yeah.
everybody was screaming, "Oh, it's hurting the environment! Don't use it because it's hurting the environment!" And they were like, "Oh my God, I can't be involved with an NFT project because these radical, crazy ass people are going to hate me because just based on that simple fact." And then how many of them turned around and started NFT projects?
That's right.
Because there was money involved.
See, that all looks
Yeah.
hand drawn. It looks drawn digitally, but still, like they.
That's what I'm saying. You're not going to be able to tell. You're not going to be able to tell the difference. Like this looks like this right here is a comic that I would buy. Like it's a comic page. This is a comic page.
Yeah, it's the
actually
Japanese
pretty good.
equivalent of Scott Pilgrim style.
Yeah. It looks great. And like that, those are T-shirts and prints and posters. Like what art? Like it's a comic character. That's a cover. Do you know what I mean?
Or at least a panel.
MK says, are these considered Creative Commons or what type of license? From what I know, basically you create it, you own it, right? So it's pretty much yours. Can other people use it? Probably, because there's no copyright. But that's what NFTs are for, baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, also, again, I think it's important. Like, that's also why you might want to do like a private version, or you might want to do it locally if you wanted to kind of keep it your own style, right? But this is a book. Like, I've seen books that look like this, and they
Yes,
look great.
there are books that look like that. Absolutely,
Yeah.
there are.
Like, look how fantastic this is.
It even has squibbly line imperfections of like you would get from like
Yeah.
a shaky hand.
That looks like a magazine cover or a comic cover that I've seen before.
Yes.
I mean, it's just incredible.
I would want to see if those programs that can figure out if something's AI art or not can spot this as AI.
Maybe, yeah. But to me, right there, that to me is that's a graphic novel cover. Done. You know. MK says, did you investigate what the money will run for us to have locally, or just beginning? We're just now, just beginning. But so this is blue sky stuff. But what we've talked about is, we're definitely looking at creating an LLM for us to do the process. Like, and it's hard to talk about because like when you put stuff out there, people take it verbatim. So this is totally just like brainstorming and just kind of the pieces are kind of thinking about, but I can see in the not so distant future where the for instance, the adult fantasy website, let's say, actually is multiple different small AI models which are geared to different tasks. So you've got the one tab where you're creating your character and your character backstory. You've got the other tab where you can actually start to play games because that AI is geared towards RPGs. It puts the recorder down, he says. You've got the one model that's there for gaming that can help, that basically, hey, anytime you want to play a game, well, the Lord game's on Thursday out, but it's a Tuesday. Cool. So you go play with other people through like an AI GM. That's, people are already working on that. And then you can go and you can start creating like the actual artwork for your characters and the stories for your characters and actually and we're already talking, we're already experimenting with some ways to make products that we've kind of found an interesting solution that we're going to be experimenting with in the next month or two to make product like POD, print on demand, products on demand. So you'll be able to do everything, right? And I think we're gonna. I don't. This is a little bit of a humble brag, but I don't think people totally understand what we're gonna have coming out. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure we're not going to be the only ones. Like, it's not an ego thing. Like, but I think with from what I have been researching and seen and bookmarked and all the tutorials and how the stuff is already fairly simple to set up. What we're doing now, like we as not just adult fantasy, but what we as a creative community, like Web3, like what we're doing today compared to where we'll be as a community, as a group in 2 years, man, I do not think people are ready. Like, I really don't. Like, other teams are looking at AI. Like, a lot of people are thinking about the same things in their own way for their own groups. I mean, you can't deny this. You can't say it doesn't look good. You can't say it's not useful. You can't say it's not fun to make. Like, it takes away so many of the barriers to creation. Why wouldn't you want to give it to people and set it up in a way so that everybody can create as well, right? And this is actually something that I never thought of. And Melissa said this. It was a couple of weeks ago. She was in a meeting with. She does like she's a super dev, so she's like a lead developer. She's works on major projects, and she was talking about AI to another developer, and that person said something, and she relayed it to me, and I was like, you know what? I never thought of this before, but she's actually right. Just to put in perspective how big of a change this is, and like it's almost like talking about money in the trillions. Like when you start talking about 2 trillion or 2 billion, the numbers are so big that it sounds the same, right? And so when you start talking about AI and it's going to change the world and robots and all this, it's so big that people just see it as science fiction, or they get scared and react. Like, it's so different that they can't really put into perspective how it's going to change what they'll be able to do. And what I'm showing tonight and what we've been talking about is one way to look at it, like how it's going to change creativity and creation. Like, hey, how does the world change when everybody can create at a high level whatever they want, right? Artisans are still going to be around because the artisans will still be able to have the most control, right? But like, what happens when I can draw this and MK can draw this, right? So that's one way to look at it. From a software, and this really put it kind of in perspective, he said, this developer told Melissa, it was like, software is like software as a service is the number one way that people make money in the software space. So software as a service is basically subscriptions, right? You're charging recurring revenue. You're getting recurring revenue for an automated service, which is whatever your software program is, right? And he said that system is over. Like, all of these startups, all of these major companies, it is like it's like a cup that's been turned upside down. And he said, think about it. How do SaaS companies, software as a service companies, how do they make money? Well, they make money by subscription tier, right? You've got the beginning tier, maybe the free tier, and then the $29 a month tier is, hey, everything in the free tier plus ABC. And then there's the expensive tier. Maybe this is the $497 a month tier, and it's everything in the free tier and the smaller tier, but you get A, B, C, D, and E. You get all this other extra stuff. And then of course you've got the enterprise plan. Well, the enterprise plan, what is that? Usually, always different, but usually the enterprise plan is maybe something white label or custom. What happens to a software company when the tool sets are there where anybody can make whatever software they want? When every piece, like the fact right now that you have tiers and this isn't available to you, but that is, and even at the top tier, when you have a software, we all have the same thought. Like if you're paying $9.95 or whatever, you're paying for a software application, there's always something you don't use and there's always something you wish you had. Oh man, why didn't it just have this feature? Right? Well, what happens when you can just build the app that you want? When you can go to a search bar, go to a text bar and say, build me an app that does these features and does this. And it does it. It codes the whole thing and pushes it to a server and allows you to download it, and you now have the app that you wanted. We are moving into a range where 100% of all software will be customized individually towards the person who wants to use it. And that is where things are going. And that's what I see with this as well, where all creativity is open to everything. And so you can't deny it. You just have to adjust to it. It's going, are there dangers? Of course. I mean, we all know the dangers of it, but you got to accept the reality that it's here. So you might as well enjoy the ride and get as much creativity and cool shit out as you possibly can.
Yeah, Skynet and the Matrix is going to happen. Just enjoy, have some fun while you can.
Yeah, look, man, I have a belief that eventually all sci-fi becomes reality anyway. All sci-fi is just like an early documentary.
Yeah. Sure.
Pretty much. It's a dream state documentary. What do you think, Dusty? Does this make sense?
I think that, back in the day, back when my grandfather was around, there wasn't hardly even television, right? And then they had a black and white TV, and then they had a color TV, and that changed everything. And then when I was a little kid, I grew up in the backyard playing with a spoon in the dirt, right? I didn't have an internet. I didn't have a cell phone. And then the internet came along and changed everything at an even greater magnitude. And now that we're on the cusp of AI doing everything from writing software to making art to everything, we're going to see change over the next probably 10 years that is unimaginable to anything that we've ever seen before. And it's going to have a lot of effects throughout all walks of life, and some are going to be very good and some are going to be very bad. So it's definitely going to be a wild ride, and I think it's going to open up the ability for all of us to create in ways that we never could. I mean, you and I could make a feature-length movie in 10 years for not very much money. I mean, that's where we're going.
You're looking at Runway ML, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just taking a still image and you animate it.
Guys,
everything is going to change though in radical ways, and it's exciting and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
So, the thing is, from my experience as a web designer, I heard a lot of these claims that were being made 10 years ago when Squarespace and WordPress.com and a lot of these other, in Wix, Weebly, etc., a lot of these other DIY web design services came around, that they were going to put the professionals out of work.
Yeah.
And didn't happen. In fact, if anything, it actually gave us more work because a lot of the jobs I've done are people transitioning out of, what they can get out of Squarespace to, something that's a little more high end.
Yep.
So now, so the point I'm trying to make is that yes, this technology will do all that you say it can do, but it's not just going to be a matter of pushing a few buttons. You're still going to have to put the work in.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing I found out when I was working with AI writing. It's just that you have, as I said, you get out what you put into it, and if you want something that's decent, you have to put a lot into it. In fact, you basically do as much. You do almost as much work plotting an AI story as you do a regular story that you're going to write.
Yep.
So again, with I would just caution people, don't listen to the hype, but take it with a grain of salt, because there's always going to be a catch, and it's always going to be once you dig into it, it's going to be a lot more work than what the hype is saying.
Well, I remember, that's a great point. And I mean, I remember when all the same kind of outrage was happening when Photoshop came out, because it was going to put out, calligraphy was going to die, right? Because who's going to want a calligrapher when you can just use a font, right? Like, and jobs changed, you know what I mean? Like a lot of pre-press stuff, kind of, everyone went to InDesign, but like, it was the same thing. Did design and art die when Photoshop came out? No, I would argue that there are more artists and designers. There are definitely more artists and designers now than there were when we were kids.
Well, also just bear in mind that just because everybody can do something doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be able to do it well.
Yeah, buddy, that's true.
I mean, look, when Photoshop came out, I mean, a lot of people who did who might have been affected were people who designed like album covers or posters for rock shows. I mean, that used to be like a pretty specific kind of art, with a specific set of skills, and it got replaced by by a whole bunch of really bad looking album covers especially in the metal space. But and it's the same thing with like when it became possible to publish your own novel on Amazon without having to go through like traditional gatekeepers, like no more slush pile, no more like sending your book out and hoping that some editorial assistant was in a good mood when she read it and passed it on up. Now you can just put it on Amazon, you can put it on Smashwords, and let's just fall where they may.
Yep.
Like 90% of the stuff that goes out there is just pure shit.
That's right.
And it's the same thing with like with music, all this, when Pro Tools came out and all that stuff, and it became possible to record professional level songs in your own bedroom.
Yep.
There's like a whole generation of
young people
got tuned into that. Turns out though that maybe 2% of them were actually any good at it. The rest of it was just like either like just generic, really derivative shitty rap, like basically landfill indie, or just like basically like what quote unquote EDM, which is basically a bunch of guys just mashing a bunch of keyboards and hoping and like over a drum beat. So again, I think it's going to be the same thing with this. I mean, yes, now in the brave new world to come, anybody who's willing to put in the time can now make a movie.
Yep.
Well, I have to tell you this: a lot of that's just going to be shitty, and let's be honest, a lot of it's just going to be straight up porn.
Yes,
I hate to say it, but in the society in which we live, and this is being my most curmudgeonly. Porn is the baseline from which all other things arise at this point.
It's true.
Because, we live in a city we live in a society that's completely running on its id.
You're not wrong.
I'm going to stop now before I start sounding like a cranky old man. Even though
you're good.
Even though I'm definitely heading down that road. But yeah, so point is that Dusty, Avery. Yeah, this technology is going to change a lot of things, but it doesn't mean that a lot of stuff that's going to come out is good. I mean, you still got to have like an actual storytelling talent or an eye for art to actually create art or tell a story.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone could be a rock star, everyone would be a rock star.
Look at this. This one is check this out. I'll show you, this will be the last one, but this is a base model where you can run to generate model sheets.
Oh wow.
Right? So there's your head turnarounds and your body shapes.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah,
it's all there, man.
I can already hear the squealing and shouting from all the woke people are saying, why do their bodies have to look like that? Blah 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 blah. Disrespect.
Whatever, man.
Whatever, man. Let them bitch and let them complain, and we'll be busy over here making amazing things and things.
The
So,
key is to never bend the knee to them.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
when they come at you, don't apologize for shit.
Nah, man. There's nothing to apologize for. But well, with that, I think it's been a great episode, a good Friday, another amazing Nerd Den. Does anyone have any shout outs? Direct them at everybody. Andrew, where should we send people? Avery, where should we send people? Zach, where should we send people?
Just my Twitter or Instagram.
What would that be? What would that be, Avery?
Yeah, just. Sorry. Go ahead.
Twitter is illustration 762, and I believe it's either illustration 762 or studio 762 on Instagram too.
Awesome.
I'm easy to find.
Totally. Zach, what about you?
thespearofheaven.com, as it is on my profile. Sign up and leave a comment. Tell me what you think of the story, and tell your friends about it. If you see a post, share it. Get the word out.
Dusty wants, please Donate, Dusty Sky. Dusty Sky.e.
Just ship some over, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you get an
Andrew.
opportunity, go check out Misfit Corner Scams. We do a live stream Saturday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's a lot of fun, and it's really easy to find us. That's probably one of the reasons why Dusty's in so much trouble. He's easy to find.
Adult Fantasy,
God.
adultfantasy.io. You know where it is. It's not what you think, except sometimes apparently it is.
Yeah.
KG, MK, have a great weekend, everybody. Carrots, have a great weekend. Thank you guys for showing up, and thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. Avery, did you share this? That's
you
unrelated.
can, but I was just going to
That's
show you.
unrelated. All right,
Yeah.
that's great. So thank you guys so much. We will see you next week. And
Are we doing a Thursday show next week?
Maybe we'll talk about it. We're
We'll
very
talk about it.
close. We're very close. Maybe need another week or two before Lord Games is back. But we're working on it. So we're just getting everything ready so we can play that RPG. We'll let you know ASAP. Thank you guys. Love you so much. Talk soon. God bless. And be good.